is the call from Lauren. It is a tail, so Glamorgan have won the toss. Lauren, what have you decided to do and why, please?
We're going to have a bat first. We just think putting some runs on the board in a semi-final is really important, and then hopefully, sticking to our guns in the field and with our bowlers to not let them chase it down.
You only lost 2 games in the group stages. Do you come into this as slight underdogs, or is that not a mentality that you approach it with?
We just want to win games of cricket. Look, we've come here to play the best form of cricket that we can, and we're really looking forward to today.
And you've got Rachel Priest running the show as head coach. That must be incredible, just a huge amount of knowledge to tap into.
Oh, such, like I said, a huge amount of knowledge, but just a great person to be around for the whole group. And we've done well so far, so hopefully that can continue today.
Thanks, Lauren. Go well. Maddie, if I could grab you for a second. You lost the toss. You're going to have a bowl first. What would you have done?
We probably would have had a bat as well, but either way we weren't really bothered, so hopefully it'll be a good game.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, you're both very strong teams, but you won 8 out of 8, so confidence must be sky high.
Yeah, we've definitely got form on our favour, but obviously don't want to be too complacent, just go into this as a fresh start. And
in terms of the squad that you've named, really strong. A few selection headaches going into this one?
Yeah, definitely a good problem to have, having Loz and Stair back in, obviously strengthen our squad hugely. But yeah, definitely selection headache.
Go well today. Thanks a lot for your time. So we'll confirm the 2 teams very shortly, but news from the middle is that Glamorgan have won the toss and they're going to bat first. We get underway in the second semi-final at 3 o'clock.
Welcome back to Northamptonshire for part 2 of 3 across this Women's League 2 Vitality Blast Finals Day. Fantastic to have your company wherever you are across the world. I'm Michael McCann, and alongside me again is someone who it's always fantastic to have her company.
Oh.
Very good afternoon to Georgie Heath.
Good afternoon. Michael, the sun is out, cricket is happening, I got caffeine, it's a good day.
Yes, we've got 2 games of cricket coming up for you now that we can say with relative certainty will not be rain interrupted. And that is a joy to say. The first semi-final, it's nice to see, it's fair to say that the best team clearly won regardless of the result. When you win by 10 wickets with 20 balls to spare, the rain might have been a factor in the flow of the game, but I don't think anyone can deny that Middlesex were very deservedly through. So now on to semi-final 2. Glamorgan have won the toss and chosen to bat, and it is 2 sides who in 2 years' time will both be in Tier 1. Of course, Yorkshire will be in Tier 1 next season. Yorkshire with a perfect 8 from 8 in the group stage, and that means that they are the favourites, as well as being the only fully professional team at this finals day. Beth Langston ready to bowl the first ball of the second semi-final, which, as it so often is from her, is right on the button. That's a lovely start to Lauren Parfitt, who was just kind of pushing at it outside off.
Yeah, Beth Langston, she's one of those players, it doesn't take her any time to get it. She doesn't need a loosener or to get herself in. She's always on it from the first ball.
She's not taken a wicket in the blast this season, but that only tells half the story. So again, that's in a nice area, just guided out to point. I say half the story, probably not even half. Beth Langston has bowled 7 overs in the blast this season before this one. She has gone at 4.7 and over, bowling all of those overs in the power play or at the death. So she is someone that you can trust at the important times. It's got to slip in, and why not? Shorter ball, and just guided away by Ellis. It's going to be 2 through the covers. Didn't really fully get her hands through the ball. It was just a nice touch shot, but also there is a slow outfield. That is going to be a factor. Quicken up maybe a little through the day as the sun beats down. fact, they only got one, so Lauren Parfitt's off the mark. Oh, inside out. Not quite sure that's where she wanted to go. I think it was more through the covers. Lovely bit of fielding. Almost wrong-footed Boyce out there, who had to dive back with her left.
Yeah, she's done really well, actually. She's run past it and then managed to stick out her left mitt and just cut it off in time before it's taken out the coffee van.
Yeah, it's rare you see that the player run past it and manage to make it okay in the end, but she did exactly that.
Actually looked quite stylish in the end.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Sun has burst through for the first time today. The field has changed now that Ellis is on strike. And a push outside off Langston, delivering more of what we've been used to seeing from her this season when she hasn't had what was an unfortunate 7-week spell out with a knee issue. Has come back for Yorkshire just in time for finals day. Oh, and that's a genuine outside edge, having taken the slip out. Well, you have to feel for Beth Langston. Runs away for 4 lucky runs to get Ellis off the mark. 7 without loss after the first in this second semi-final. Just to run you through the teams. For Glamorgan, Lauren Parfitt, Niamh Holland, Beth Ellis, B. Ellis, Bethan Gammon, Poppy Tulloch, Gemma Porter, Georgia Parfitt, Poppy Walker, Nicole Reid and Katie Cobb. For Yorkshire, Georgie Boyce, Lauren Winfield-Hill, Steph Callis, Maddie Ward, Amy Campbell, Rebecca Duckworth, Olivia Thomas, Ria Thackrell, Beth Langston, Rachel Slater and Claudie Cooper. It will be Slater to bowl the second.
Yeah, a bit of a blemish on the end of a pretty good first over that from Langston. It was sort of mother cricket saying, I show no mercy to anyone. You take the slip out and the ball's going to race exactly where there would have been a fielder the previous delivery.
Slater bowling traditional left arm over sort of line, will nibble it back into the right hander. Ward up to the stumps. Ward's been excellent standing up to the seamers this season. That's a nice start from Slater. Parfitt has to respect what is a good ball. Lauren Parfitt, one of the more experienced heads in this Glamorgan side, was Wales captain 2017 through to 2024, so it's no surprise that she's continued to take that leadership responsibility on. Oh, it's got herself in all sorts of a tangle there, Parfitt. They'll scamper through for a single. Somewhat unconvincing from Parfitt though, and good early signs for Slater.
Yeah, she's had an odd season, hasn't she, Lauren Parfitt? Made an unbeaten 75 against Middlesex all the way back in June, but not really much else to write home about.
Yeah, did get a 50 against Gloucestershire as well, but there's been those 2 big peaks. Well, Ward's done well to get anything on that. That was pretty wayward. Big chase needed by Olivia Thomas, and that will be 3 wides to the score.
So you've set this up, yeah?
Chalk and cheese today, hasn't it? It was raining, mizzly, grey and dark earlier, and now I'm sort of squinting because the sun's come out, we've got blue sky, and it's perfect cricket conditions.
There's going to be more runs, at least one of them. Yeah, if you rocked up to the ground now, you would have no idea that we've just had a rain-affected first semi-final. You would find it bizarre as a concept. But I guess that's England, right?
Yeah. The rainy squall, that's the worst one. When it always seems to be when we're about as far from home as you can be as well.
Parfitt again gets herself in a tangle, and that's not far away from Slater. My goodness me, had that swung a little bit less. Slater's got both hands on head, can't believe it. And don't underestimate the role Ward is having here by trapping Parfitt in her crease. Really good early pressure this from Rachel Slater. Field is changing as a result. Little adjustment to Thomas at fine leg. Ring of 5 on the offside. Parfitt this time opens her shoulders. It's good contact down the ground, but no run. There's a bit of pressure building up here on Lauren Parfitt. She's 3 off 8.
What I also love with this Yorkshire side, obviously you've got Maddie Ward behind the stumps, because Lauren Winfield Hill captaining. Not today, but she has captained this side, but she obviously can keep as well, and so you've got that availability, but she's there as that mature head, you know, she can help adjust fields and talk to bowlers.
And that's getting into the pads of Parfitt from Slater, who, despite bowling a couple of wides, gets out of the over having conceded just 4. She'll be very happy with that. 12 without loss after 2.
And so then with this Yorkshire side, you've got such an abundance of maturity in there as well. So, you know, Maddie Ward captaining and keeping, Lauren Winfield Hill, she's around, so she can be involved in those sort of leadership decisions as well. You've got the likes of Stair Callis, who's been there, done that, been around the game for such a long time, been at Yorkshire. Some of them have been out on loan. Lauren Winfield Hill's been at Essex, Stair's been at Warwickshire, at the Bears. So they really do have such a wealth of experience in their side. But then what's even more exciting, they've still got such a young captain in Maddie Ward.
Yorkshire's youngest captain, men's or women's, in 100 years.
Exactly.
20-year-old, a mere child.
Well, not technically.
No, I mean, I'm obviously being a bit facetious.
Still go to the pub.
Here's Langston. Love the areas again from Beth Langston, the kind of areas she's occupied all season. Ward was 20 years old and 4 months when captaining against Derbyshire in the Blast opener, and that was back in June. She's led this team very impressively in the Blast. Comes down the track, tries to change what Langston is doing, but Langston is just unerring on that awkward length, and neither Parfitt nor Ellis have found the answer so far today. This is someone with England experience once upon a time, and were it not for some awful luck with injuries, would have played a lot more for her country. And again, Langston right on the button. You just sense we're starting to get towards that point where something's got to happen here. Glamorgan will be aware that this is by no means a bad batting pitch, and they can't afford to be going through a power play scoring at less than a run a ball.
Yeah, especially when you think of the striking power that Yorkshire do have when they come out to chase.
Has to dig out what is a very good Yorker. But pressure's building here on B. Ellis.
Yeah, really well bowled this by Langston, because Ellis moved across quite early. If she just managed to get it past that bat, that was Bales flying.
They are going to take a quick single here. A direct hit might well have been gone. My goodness me. It's a braver person than me to try a run there to Lauren Winfield Hill.
Well, it's because she'd already advanced down the pitch at this one, so she was actually a third of the pitch down already, so she was on the way, and I can understand the thinking about it. They are trying to rotate the strike. They've got to find runs where they can.
That replay would appear to confirm. Ends up bobbing off the helmet. Would have definitely been run out this time. Winfield Hill's in a little tighter. Zings it into the gloves of Ward. So 13 without loss after 3. And Langston, well, I mentioned how good her economy rate has been in both T20 and 50 over cricket this season. She's conceded just 8 off 2. And 4 of those were an outside edge, you may remember.
Yeah, they've got to start motoring a little more here, Glamorgan, because this is not the ideal start at all. 13 on the board after the first 3 overs, so we've still got 3 overs of power play to come. Fielding restrictions, and it's nice batting conditions now. Sunny, not too hot. We saw what Middlesex did earlier. It's a good track to bat on once you're in. Actually, they didn't even need to get in. They went from the off, didn't they, in their chase? And actually, so did Leicester at the top of their innings.
Slater starting the new over, finding the inside edge of Ellis, who will get 2. Yeah, Routledge and Truster were pretty destructive. Leicestershire did build a platform. They were 40 without loss from 6. They built a platform and maybe didn't quite kick on to the score they'd have necessarily hoped to have made. Ended up with having to settle for 140 for 7. Slater again in a good spot. Definitely not going to get anything for that one. Rachel Slater earlier in the season had to recover from a fractured right wrist. She said there's a left arm seam hole and all rounder. It's probably the best injury I've ever had in my career. Couldn't play, but could still bowl in the nets with a protective cast on, but not to a batter for pretty obvious reasons. Might only be 23, but had the pleasure of commentating with a fair bit. There's a real old head on those young shoulders. Slater just trying to hit that wide Yorker line. Ward didn't quite gather it cleanly. That'll be 1 by.
It was a genuine leave, I think, that sort of surprised Ward there.
Yeah, you can understand. And don't underestimate what a tough skill it is here that Ward's executing. She took a stumping off Jess Woolston, another Yorkshire seamer. He's not in this 11, standing up recently. That was pretty stunning. As Parfitt tries to drive down the ground, they are going to take 1, and Winfield Hill will have another chance to shy, but had she hit that time, wouldn't have been out. Ellis would have made her ground.
She did well in a follow-through, actually, there, Slater, to get a hand to it. It was hit hard. Managed to stop the power on it and still keep it down to just 1 in the end.
So we have still seen just 1 boundary, and that was an outside edge for 4 off Langston. Even just cricket statistics in T20s would tell you that a wicket or a run of boundary has got to be coming very soon. Steps away, tries to make something happen. That's clever from Ellis. Don't mind that, trying something different. That's what Glamorgan need to do. Gets it away for 1.
It's funny because every time it comes down there, I'm like, oh, 4. But actually, there's a fielder hidden just around the corner out of my eyesight that seems to keep appearing out of nowhere to just cut that one off. Down that sort of fine leg. Hit hard, hit nicely, and that will be 4. That's a genuine boundary this time rather than the edge that was the first boundary of the innings. Really well struck by Parfitt.
Yeah, just gives the innings a little bit of momentum. That over's gone for 8. That 4 just ticks things back towards a runner ball. And most importantly, will also give Parfitt some more confidence, because sometimes you can have a run of things where batters are middling balls at fielders and the scoreboard doesn't quite reflect it. You wouldn't really say it's been that. It's been Yorkshire setting the tone nicely, but Parfitt and Ellis are still there. We'll hope to build on the platform.
So 2 overs of power play still to come. 22 on the board. Are we going to have another from Langston?
No, it's going to be Cooper, who's got a point to prove, and started proving that point since she joined Yorkshire from Surrey. So that's played straight back to her. Claudie Cooper has had an excellent season. She's played in every game for Yorkshire, all 15 including this one. She's consistently been in the wickets, bowling at the power play, bowling at the death off and opening the bowling. Goes on the reverse, it's gone in the gap. Campbell giving chase, flicks it back. That will be 2 for Parfitt, who's into double figures. Yeah, she talked about the fact that it's been a big change for me. The most north I'd ever been before was North London. I left all my friends and family behind, and that was quite hard to start with, but the girls have been brilliant. I only had a bit of stick for how posh I am. Gives that one a teasing amount of flight. Ellis comes down the track and tries to lump it into the gap. Did a pretty good job of it, but some nice sweeping out there means it's 2 more.
Well, it's whoever you speak to, what counts as the north, isn't it? Some people say Watford Gap. The service station there, that's when you hit the north. Others, it's further.
Shorter from Cooper. Just trying to dig it in flat after sensing that Ellis was going to come down again.
And then there's some people around where I live who barely go north of the river.
Sweep was not quite fully timed, but timed well enough to get 1 for Ellis. Had more of the strike, has 14 off 17. Cooper added, I love leading from the front. I've done it at Stars and Surrey in the academy. It's a great way to advance my knowledge. And something I wanted to do more of was actually playing proper games in senior cricket. Her words, direct quote. Straight back to Cooper. You've certainly got plenty of that this season.
Yeah, cricketer and actually want to play cricket. Good, love that.
Actually playing proper games. That's the direct
not just beach cricket.
Direct quote from Claudie Cooper. 27 without loss from 5. They come right through the Surrey pathway, and such is the nature of things. Sometimes that Stars team in the old regional structure, now Surrey, historically a team that always had plenty of spin. Danny Gregory, Killian Moore, more recently Tilly Courtine Coleman. Very difficult to make that breakthrough. That was part of what led to Cooper signing for Yorkshire on a 2-year contract, a maiden pro contract. And it's going to be spin at both ends. And it's a good combination for Yorkshire. It's one that's worked very well, often bowling in tandem. Cooper with her off spin, a very different threat here, easy for me to say. Olivia Thomas with her leggies, and she'll give it plenty of flight. And that's cut away to deep cover. You'll see she's got a little bit of strapping on a slightly awkward finger wound, but most importantly for Thomas, it's on her non-bowling hand. That's where you want it.
I do indeed. You'd rather have it nowhere in sight, but if you have to have it somewhere, I guess.
Now Parfitt, will she have a look at one from Thomas, or will she choose to immediately be aggressive? Does like to reverse sweep, so there's 2 fielders at backward point. Steps away and makes room and gets 1, but she'll be frustrated here, Lauren Parfitt. 9 off 14. Pressure's building.
I've got a gripe with Glamorgan's kit. I love Glamorgan's kit, but
goes on the paddle. It's a very good paddle, but the outfield is slow. So shots like this, you don't quite get full value for them. All that rain has slowed it up. Cooper does the fielding. 2 more.
I can't really see the numbers or the names very well on the back of these shirts.
Yeah,
I've had it with the Blaze as well. They've got these gold numbers on this sort of orangey army type shirt. Yorkshire, great, love it. Give me a white number and a white name on a darkish background anytime. Same with Surrey and the Hampshire kit. But I'm struggling with this from Glamorgan.
That's chopped away by Ellis for 1. Thackrell with the shy. I think Ellis was just being a little casual there. Thackrell sensed an opportunity. I think Ellis got her skates on well enough. Yeah, it's not commentator optimised necessarily. It's a good eye test. Is the positive spin? It's a nice free eye test.
I am failing this eye test.
You're not the only one. Parfitt completely miscues a full toss. Conventional mid-on might well have caught it running forward. Instead it's long on who's out, so comes in to field it for 1. Thomas has really got away with that. It just maybe dipped under waist height, so it's not a no ball.
I think you can tell that it's just a batter not quite feeling it so far today, because normally you could have dispatched that into the members.
Steps across this time. Good slog sweep. This will be 4, despite the slow outfield. Timed nicely by Bethan Ellis. And that's a good overall toll with a boundary off the last for Glamorgan, because it ends up going for 10, the most profitable of the innings so far. Power play complete, and after a slightly struggling start, Glamorgan have fought their way up to 37 without loss.
Yeah, just starting to move up through the gears now. And, well, they can't really afford to stay down in the gears for much longer, because we do know what this batting lineup is like for Yorkshire. And only 37 on the board after the power play. And you feel like they've sort of missed an opportunity here. There have been some full tosses that have been there to hit. They've just not quite timed it. At times it's looked like they've sort of tried to hit the ball too hard.
Yep, definitely agree on all that. The big silver lining is, of course, though, that something of a foundation is built, but got to kick on. Thackrell on. Low full toss hit straight at Winfield Hill. Even if the Shard hit, would have made it home. Ria Thackrell, the top wicket taker in the blast this season. She's got 15, which was 4 more at least than anyone else at the start of today. And that was with her being rested for the final game, because Yorkshire were already through and they wanted to have a look at their talented young spinner, Jeannie Lee. And Thackrell's also the second most economical bowler in the competition, who's bowled at least 12 overs. It's a reasonable sort of qualifying rate. She's gone at 4.5 and over. And it's deliveries like that are why, but that is going to go for runs. Slides away off the outside edge of Parfitt's bat for 4. We have to feel for Thackrell a bit. She's done everything right. She gets the moral victory, but Parfitt gets the 4 in the book.
Yeah, and that's what matters really in the end. Moral victories aren't a thing, if you ask me.
The consolation that she bowled a decent ball. Well, it's the previous ball was the one that deserved to be dispatched. The low full toss. This has gone down the ground. And Winfield Hill will chase. Cooper will come around from long on though. Cuts that off at the expense of 1. Bethan Ellis, who made a half-century a couple of games back against Gloucestershire, on loan from Warwickshire. Just starting to find a bit of rhythm here. Steps away, gets decent contact on this. And it goes for 1 bounce 4. Lovely shot from Parfitt. Picks the gap between mid-wicket and long on perfectly. That's a real shot of intent.
Yeah, it was sat up. It was there to be hit. For a moment, the two fielders would have thought, perhaps we could be in the game here. But perfectly bisected the two.
Yeah, it's the kind of shot that gives Thackrell something to think about on the reply. And the reply is almost the closest thing a spinner can get to bowling a Yorker. Really dug it in, Thackrell, while you've just seen that replay. And it was nicely manipulated into gap in the offside by Parfitt for 1. So this over has gone for 11 with 1 ball left. The previous over's gone for 10. Some nice signs starting to build for Glamorgan, who will finish it by picking up a single. 49 for none. 7 going at exactly 7 and over, with a big over there that concedes 12.
Yeah, just starting to accelerate like they needed to. They were going a little too slowly early on, but they haven't lost any wickets. And so it's a good foundation this set now, and these two can just afford to start trying to push the foot on the accelerator. Both catching up now with the strike rate as well. LS 28 from 24, Parfitt now 16 from 18. So both set and both in.
Worth saying as well, I did mention it at the top, this is Glamorgan's first ever competitive season as Glamorgan women's team. Most counties have had some form of history in that, but previously the region was represented by a Wales side predominantly. That's it, straight to short cover from Thomas's new over. Albeit, dug in the history books, there was a Glamorgan women's team that played friendly matches in 1890 and 1891, founded by Violet Morgan and Constance Hill, before unfortunately they were stopped. I think that might have been a low full toss. It might well be a run out. Oh, it's just about made it home, Parfitt. That was tight. That was tight.
Yeah, it was a good speedy pick-up. Actually, pick-up, turn and throw. But she's ground a bat. First thing you're taught when you're running, ground your bat.
Yeah, it's always going to be the danger end with the keeper, but with the speediness of keeper's quick release, that made it all the tighter. But you would say that the fact that she made it home and the dive wasn't required shows that the run was still well judged.
And it brings up the 50 as well for Glamorgan. 50 up after 7.2 overs.
Yeah, they'd have taken that on winning the toss and choosing to bat for sure. Thomas doesn't quite get that right. Parfitt might be a bit frustrated to have not got more than a single from the full bunger.
Yeah, it was another one that was there to be hit. We've seen a few of those now, haven't we? Full tosses that have just not been taken advantage of.
Makes room and plays that from really deep in the crease. It's always a sign of someone picking length off a spinner well, and wasn't even that. Didn't have that much width on it, but Ellis gets it away to the sweeper for one.
It was almost a collision between the two batters running as well. Had to sort of go for the rugby sidestep.
Oh, just a cheeky little paddle from Parfitt. And she's going to get at least two. Ellis wants three, and Parfitt says two's enough. Thank you very much.
This pocket down just in front of us. I was saying earlier, there's a fielder always just hidden. So in my head, I see it, and I'm like, oh, it's boundary. And then this person just appears. I've got this one tiny little blind spot that unless I sort of lie on your shoulder, it's quite hard to see.
Maria Thackwell just appears from nowhere. Steps away, makes room, and that's Parfitt's best shot of the day. Has absolutely whacked it back past Thomas. Like getting a driver out on the par 5. Gives it the full Monty down the ground. And Thomas's 2 overs have been unusually expensive by her very high standards. Boundary off the last, and Glamorgan starting to find a bit of rhythm here. 58 without loss after 8.
Yeah, glorious looking stroke, this one. Perfectly timed, one bounce over the boundary. I think that's the best shot of the innings so far at all, not just her best shot. And now up well above that strike rate. 30 from 27 for Ellis, 23 from 21 for Parfitt. They haven't lost any wickets yet as well, so they really can afford to start trying to take this on because they've got batting to come after this. They've set the foundation well. We saw earlier on Leicester, they made 66 for 1 in their first 10 overs, and the batting conditions weren't quite as friendly at the time.
Cooper continuing, 5 off her first. She's come back on after that one expensive over from Thackrell. And that's a nice bit of work coming down the track from Ellis. Away for one more. Lauren Winfield-Hill said in the build-up to this one, winning a trophy special no matter what tier. The bigger goal is beyond this. We want to be a winning team in Tier 1. This is a stepping stone. It's about preparing for next year. The more times good teams can put us under pressure, the better we'll be. Well, Yorkshire is certainly under pressure here. It's a step to a long way away there, Parfitt. Cooper sort of followed her. Cut straight to point.
Yeah, the way we saw those first few overs go, we thought the pressure was really going to build on Glamorgan.
That's slightly over-pitched. Driven confidently. Parfitt onto one. She really is a veteran. She made her debut for Wales back in 2007. That's a 13-year-old in a full senior game. And it's been around in the Wales setup ever since. And then that's morphed into Glamorgan. Worked away for another single. There's been a lot of synergy. It won't surprise you to know that 9 of the core Glamorgan squad were previously regular members of that Wales senior side. Steps away again and gets this inside out over cover. Clever shot, really clever shot from Parfitt. Cooper trying to follow her down leg, and Parfitt just makes that room and helps it into an area that's over that inner ring. 4 more.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's no fear cricket, that from Parfitt. Perfectly timed. It's one of the more difficult shots to execute. But once you get your feet right, plants that front foot, and she knows exactly where she's going with that. Sets off for the run, but not really. Once it was over that infield, she knew that was going for runs. And actually, that's just pushed Amy Campbell out onto the boundary. That deep cover.
Now tries to sweep, but square legs in due to that field change. So that'll be 1. So another decent over for Glamorgan, who found at least 1 boundary from each of the last 4 overs. 66 without loss. The first 4 overs went for 27. The first 5 overs went for 27, so just a tickle over 5 and over. The last 4 overs have gone for just under 10s. They've gone for 39. So they've really sped up here from laying a base. And now you would say, in some ways, it's Yorkshire who've got a question or 2 to answer.
Yeah, they've got to break this partnership. That's what they've got to do. They won't mind which of them they get. But they desperately need a wicket now.
And they have gone back to seam, and that's not surprising because this opening pair have both looked better against spin than seam today, and Slater's now going to try left arm around. Oh, and that's beautiful from Rachel Slater, and you can see from the celebration that she's pumped up. That's a delicious delivery to get rid of Parfitt, and that is the breakthrough Yorkshire desperately wanted. A really impressive opening partnership comes to an end. 66 for 1. Glamorgan skipper gone for 29.
Yeah, well, turning back to your pacer, your strike bowler, and she delivers with the very first delivery. This is just what they required, Yorkshire. We said they needed a wicket. She comes through first one. This just has a bit of a poke at this. Sort of got caught in 2 minds what she was going to do with the shot. At first wound up to play the big one, then thought she was just going to dab it, and actually in the end just missed it completely. You miss, I hit. Off she goes.
And don't underestimate in a dismissal like that the difference that Maddie Ward standing up makes, because if Ward was back, then she would have wanted to be at least another yard or so down the pitch, if not advancing even further to try and negate that swing of the new ball, but she can't do that because of Ward's presence. That's what helps create the indecision of footwork. Definitely cuts back in as well. Parfitt's left quite exposed, having cleared that front leg looking for a potential big shot. So now out comes Niamh Holland, making just her 2nd appearance for Glamorgan in the Blast this season, on loan from Somerset. Her only appearance so far, made 40 off 39 balls. She's recovering from a stress fracture, so only playing as a batter. She worked with Glamorgan's head of cricket, Amy Rees, in the Western Storm era. That's part of what brought the loan move about. So first ball is driven straight to mid-off.
It seems a lifetime ago, doesn't it? When you say Western Storm, it feels like something from such a distant past.
Yeah, try going back to the KSL era, of course. We've been going through our various eras of women's cricket. Slater once more in a good spot. Holland will get off the mark with a well-judged quick single.
It was quite nonchalant, actually, the throw coming in from Stair Callis there. She got to the ball pretty quickly, and they were having to scamper, and she sort of lazily throwing it in.
I don't know whether she just made the judgment that Holland was making it, maybe. This field changing now. So Ellis is back on strike. And this is straight at cover. Well, even by the standards of quick running, that would have been a terrible decision. Slater's having a really solid start. She's bowled 16 balls, she's gone for 13. Quite a few of those were runs on the more fortuitous side, and has picked up the only wicket to fall. Described as gold dust by our head coach Rich Pyre, with a left arm quick bowling, as that's straight to deep mid wicket. Campbell's out there and it's one more.
It's not a bad thing to be called by your coach, is it? Gold dust.
Yeah, it's always a good sign that you'll make it in the team. And indeed, whenever she's been available, unsurprisingly, she's played. Offers a lot with the bat as well down the order. That's just turned away, so Holland will get at least one. And despite some good fielding, definitely get two. So 4 off the over and a wicket. It's exactly what Yorkshire would have wanted when bringing pace back into the attack. At the halfway point, 70 for 1 off 10.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because we already saw one game on this pitch earlier on today. Leicestershire batting first. They made 66 for 1 in their first 10 overs, so not too much to separate these two opening innings, but it just seemed like they came off and went firing far quicker than this Glamorgan side. But actually what they've done so well is they started slowly, yes, but they got themselves in and have accumulated and then been able to push up through the gears. Obviously unfortunate for Glamorgan and Glamorgan fans that wicket fell, but they have now set a really good foundation. They've still got Ellis out there on 33. She just turns this one into the onside. They're scampering this first one hard, and actually, and some really good running as well, because it's fallen just short enough that it's gone between the 3 fielders, and then the throw has gone rocketing past the stumps, and they'll add another one to the total.
And it was missed on the backing up, and it almost went for what would have ended up being 6 all told. It was only a yard or so from going to on a quicker outfield, or an outfield that hasn't had the hours of rain we've had this morning. That would have been 6.
Well, we've already seen it all run 5 today.
Yeah, that's true. From Routledge and Trussler. Routledge and Trussler.
That's one for the bingo card. Yeah, again, not quite timed. They won't mind this. Keep rotating the strike. Ellis obviously is doing the heavy lifting at the moment. She's the set batter. She's 36 from 32 now. Holland run a ball 4.
Got to be wanting 150 from here, though. You would think with the platform that's been laid.
And the opposition, and knowing what they can do with the bat. The tempting flighted delivery from Fackrell. Again, just a single.
That being said, don't underestimate what a good solid effort this has been from Glamorgan. 12 T20s Yorkshire have played this season, and only 4 teams have managed to get past 115 against them. So they're a very good side with the ball and in the field.
Again, this one's just sort of hoiked into the leg side. But if they just keep rotating the strike, adding the singles, you go at 6 and over there, find the boundary, take on the bad ball. They already had 3 off the first ball of this over after that overthrow. Again, that full flighted delivery, just tempting, trying to tempt B. Ellis. This time slightly shorter, darted in, finds the gap. Amy Campbell is out there on that protection on the boundary, coming back for a second. Have to be quick, gets the dive in. And doesn't take the bails off anyway, Maddie Ward.
Yeah, so the over's gone for 8, even without a boundary. Not a bad over all told. And for Glamorgan, when you think that Rhea Fackrell's one of the most economical bowlers in this competition and the top wicket taker, you'd have got long odds on her going for 20 from her first 2. But that's what's happened. I did mention that only 4 teams from the 12 T20s Yorkshire have played have got past 115. The other important further context to that is round 3 was Tier 1 Essex in the County Cup, and then the quarter-final defeat where Yorkshire were walloped by 10 wickets by the Bears were 2 of those games. So if you take out the 2 games against Tier 1 sides, it's just 2 games from 10 where they've conceded more than 115. So again, that puts into context, it's been a decent batting effort from Glamorgan so far. They've put themselves in a place where they should get well beyond that score. Change of ends for Langston.
I like this, bringing Langston back on. She's been miserly so far, gone for just 8 runs from her 2 overs. Holland on strike. Has a swipe at this one, and there's a misfield, a sort of half stop by Stair Callis at a point. They had to scamper back through.
I will give Callis the fact that I think that took a little bobble in front of her. It looked an awkward one. When it's coming off those practice pitches, that can happen.
Just bringing fine leg up inside the ring. Push out deep cover. Long on. And cover will come in off the boundary to cut this one off. 1 more to the total.
Intrigued by Slater coming back early. She does tend to often bowl 2 at the top, 2 at the depth. Of course, Yorkshire can't use Maddie Ward bowling today because she's keeping, and she, in earlier parts of the season, has been handy with her mix of offies and leggies.
So now Amy Campbell comes back inside the ring. Now at deep mid-wicket, now at just short mid-wicket. And they're going to run on the misfield here. They say it so often, don't run on the misfield. Perhaps if it had been taken cleanly by Langston at the stumps, if she'd gathered it, that could have been curtains.
My goodness me. Wow, that was a bit of a hokey-cokey and a bit concerning if you're a Glamorgan supporter watching that running. There was a proper will they, won't they, and now we're going to go. I think if Langston gathers it cleanly, it's still not quite gone. So that's slapped straight at extra cover.
We've lost the breeze as well, just looking down at the flags over to our left, just hanging loosely at the flagpoles, so it's perfect conditions for batting now. This one's pulled away and it's hit hard enough that it's bisected the 2 fielders and does go out just towards the aforementioned flags. 4 more to the total as Holland moves into double figures.
Yeah, Glamorgan keep finding the boundary from the 5th or the 6th ball of the over here. It's been a repeated pattern, and it's just making it naturally very difficult for the Yorkshire to keep a sense of pressure going. So suddenly this over's gone for 8 with 1 left. It's a cracking shot as well from Holland.
This one, Fuller, and squirted out through the offside this time. Brings the over to a close. 12 gone. Glamorgan 87 for 1 after Yorkshire won the toss. Decided to put Glamorgan into bat. Just the 1 wicket to go down so far, and B. Ellis up into the 40s now. Been out there since the beginning, looking very comfortable. They struggled early on, didn't they, this Glamorgan side, and now found some rhythm, and they'll be eyeing up at least that 150 mark.
Yeah, B. Ellis carded to come in at 4, so we are looking forward to the commentators' joy of having B and Beth and Ellis batting at exactly the same time. Can't get too much closer as names than that. Olivia Thomas back.
Well, they think she's got an edge on this. Yes, she has. Holland just looking to cut it away. Back into the attack. Thomas strikes with the first ball of the over. The 2nd wicket now goes down. Well taken by Maddie Ward behind the stumps. Makes no mistake. 2 now down for Glamorgan.
Yeah, this is fantastic keeping by Maddie Ward. Don't underestimate what a difficult skill that is standing up. There's probably a part of Ward that thinks this is going to hit the stumps and be bowled. But instead, just the tiniest little feather, and Ward manages to stay low enough. She's got more dismissals than anyone else in the Women's Vitality Blast League 2 this season, and you saw in that piece of cricket exactly why.
That's just what they needed at this point. They needed a boost, Yorkshire, because he's just starting to get away from them. They've still got B. Ellis out there in the middle. Gammon comes out to join her.
Yeah, and this is a player with some serious pedigree. Gammon is Glamorgan's top run scorer, the 6th highest run scorer in the comp coming into today, and crucially, and this is really important given the game situation, the 2nd best strike rate of anyone in the competition this season who scored at least 100 runs. So not only does she score at a decent volume, she scores at a decent rate too. And Glamorgan need a bit more of that from her here. She's the kind of player that could be the difference between, say, 120, 130 and 150 plus.
Flighted delivery to welcome Gammon to the crease.
She also runs the Glamorgan EPP programme, so she does a lot for the youngsters coming through as well.
This one is cut away, finds the gap, and she's going to get off the mark with a boundary. Races across the outfield.
Picks up the length so quickly. Back in her crease. That's a really nice nerve-settling shot for Bethan Gammon. It's the top spinner from Thomas. Just waits and hits it at the top of the bounce. That's pure perfection in terms of timing.
Again waits, and this time Campbell can come around and cut it off.
She's got a 24 ball 42 in a very tight 5-run win against Sussex. That demonstrates the kind of innings Gammon can play that takes a game away from a side.
Again moves the feet early, squares herself up, scoring all her runs on the offside at the moment.
Yeah, she likes that shot, Bethan Ellis. It's a very natural shot for her, backing the legs away and getting the hands through the ball. Will cut very close to the stumps, often off the stumps as well.
Gammon now gets in on the action, scoring through the offside. Amy Campbell is busy out there at deep cover.
Yeah, she's needs an oyster card for that commute.
Brings the over to a close 13 gone, 94 for 2, Glamorgan.
Yeah, so fascinated to see how Ward uses her bowlers, because most games this season, Maddie Ward has tended to have the luxury of at least 6 frontline bowling options. But in this Yorkshire team today, I would be surprised if we saw anyone else bar the 5 that we've just seen, the spin trio of Cooper, Thomas, Fackrell, and then the seamers of Langston and Slater. Fackrell's bowled a couple and has been expensive, uncharacteristically so. The 2 seamers have both only got 1 left. Going to turn back to Cooper, who has number 13 from her 2.
Advances at this one and gets it just almost yorks herself. Gammon can't really do much with it.
Talked about coming from a team where I wasn't really playing to coming in having quite a big leadership and bowling job has been something I've been really happy with.
Has a feel for this one. Just wanting to slow things down, put a stopper on this, Yorkshire. That run rate up over 7s at the moment. They'll be trying to push this up, Glamorgan. They've got the foundation now. Advances and goes big, goes high, goes long. 1 bounce into the members.
Yeah, great shot this from Gammon. She was committed to coming down the pitch, and she actually ends up with her feet and most of her body a little further from the ball than she might have liked, but such is her ability to not panic when she's there. Gets the fast hands through the ball, and that's what slightly gets her out of it, and handsomely so.
This time gets it on the full down to deep square, so one more hit well enough that it will just be one. You'd certainly feel that they're eyeing up the 150. Just the 2 wickets have gone down. Ellis out there well set, 41 from 37. Oh, what a grab! Reflex grab in her follow through, and that is the key wicket. Check that out for a grab. That is nothing but instinct from Claudie Cooper.
She's done it again. She has done it again. She makes a habit of this, Claudie Cooper. She takes sensational caught and bowled. She did it earlier in the season against Grace Scrivens in round 3 of the County Cup against Essex at Headingley. She's done it a few times as well in the past, and that is another to add to the Claudie Cooper collection. Absolutely sensational. They don't happen by chance. This was hit back with interest and VAT on top, and she makes it look so easy.
That is exactly what Yorkshire needed. I said they just had the foundation to push on, and that Ellis was there set on 41, and she just can't believe it. You could see head sort of rocked back. She goes on her way for 41. And it brings another B. Ellis out to the middle. At least we're not going to have the issue of B. Ellis squared.
Yeah, thankfully that's avoided from a personal viewpoint. B. Ellis from Gloucestershire.
She faces up this time and just pushes it back to Claudie Cooper. And that's a really tidy end to the over in the end. The boundary hit from it, but then single wicket dot. 14 gone. Glamorgan 99 for 3.
Wickets in back-to-back overs then for Yorkshire. And that makes everything suddenly feel a bit different. Bethan Ellis, who was there with the platform ready to go, is removed by a moment of magic from Cooper, who, as I mentioned, it's no fluke. Does practice that skill as well. Something that is so impressive. Now, Thackrell, I mentioned, had to come back at some point. They've decided it's now, and that's a wise move, I'd say, from Yorkshire. 2 relatively new batters at the crease. Thackrell's probably got to bowl her 4 overs, so she's got to bowl 2 of this last 6. She's gone for 20 from her first 2.
Well, she thinks she's got an edge there. Yes, she has. First ball of the over, back into the attack. Thackrell now strikes, and it gets rid of Gammon, which means there's now going to be 2 batters out there yet to get off the mark, and this has really put the wobbles on Glamorgan's scoring.
Well, that is one of the best batters in this competition gone. Rhea Thackrell, the top wicket taker in the Blast this season, and again she shows why. 2 expensive overs to start with, but here Gammon just gets a feather. You can see how pumped up Maddie Ward is behind the stumps. That's a second take, caught behind standing up. It's a tough skill that she makes look relatively simple. So it's an unenviable job here for the Hampshire Loney Poppy Tulloch, who has played a couple of nice cameo roles as a finisher this season, and how Glamorgan desperately need a bit of that here.
Yeah, youngster Poppy Tulloch comes out to the middle, and now 2 batters yet to get off the mark, so they've really got they haven't really got that much time to sort of rebuild too much and start to go again, because we're into the 15th over now, 99 on the board, and it really has slowed that run scoring. Again, looks to cut it away. Maddie Ward is right behind you. You get any kind of tickle on that, and she is in the mood. Again, looks to just push it and almost skewers herself with her bat.
It ends up in quite an awkward position. There's a lack of decisiveness about whether to commit to coming forward and meeting it on the half volley or really rocking back deep in the crease.
This time shuffles down the pitch and deep mid wicket comes into action, so she's off the mark, and it brings up the 100 for Glamorgan. 100 up after 14.4 overs.
It's taken them exactly as long to get from 50 to 100 as it did to get from 0 to 50. It's taken 44 balls for both milestones, which reflects the fact they haven't quite got the acceleration they'd have wanted.
Chipped up in the air, just wide of the fielder at short mid wicket. But it does mean that B. Ellis is off the mark, and they've done well to scamper back for a second as well.
Yeah, it's great hard scamperage there. You're going to need plenty of that if they're to try and bring this 150 mark kind of back towards being in play. They need almost 10 and over for that now.
Final legitimate delivery is just hit straight back to Fackrell, and she's put it down. It was easier take, you would have thought, than the one from Claudie Cooper in the previous over. Could have bookended her over with wickets there, Fackrell, but in the end, a wicket and 3 runs from it. 15 gone, Glamorgan 102 for 4.
The last 3 overs, I've seen 15 runs scored and 3 wickets lost. Yorkshire have put the brakes on at near perfect time against Glamorgan. As mentioned that Tullett was a loanee, it's been notable that Glamorgan have used the loan system more than most. The head of women's cricket, Amy Rees, said to me that it's for a couple of reasons. One, it's for our Tier 2 players to see what Tier 1 players look like, how they prepare, reflect after games. 2 is for us to be competitive. It's hard for us to develop our younger players if we can't compete in games for longer. I mentioned before, you can have 3 Tier 1 loan players, and you can also have an unlimited amount of academy loan players in your 11.
So a 4th over for Thomas, and this one will just come through for 1. Slight misfield out in the deep, but nothing capitalised on.
Well, it looks like the way this is going to work out with 5 overs left, including this one, is every bowler's got to bowl 1 of them. So after this, we'll see in one combination or another, Langston, Slater, Cooper and Fackrell all bowl 1 more.
Flighted delivery, this time skewed up in the air. Lauren Winfield-Hill sets herself not a chance ever that she was going to put that one down straight in the breadbasket. And another wicket goes down, and Thomas has her second.
Yeah, the wickets just keep tumbling here. Glamorgan can't find an answer, and suddenly we're into what you would definitely now, I think, call a batting collapse. We've seen 4 wickets fall for the addition of just 20 runs or so going under a run a ball, and that is not what you need when it's time to push on in particular.
No, exactly. It was when the 2 set batters were going along really well up the top, and then just wickets falling. Parfitt and Beth and Ellis started things off so well, but once those 2 were gone, they really have started to collapse. 103 for 5 now. And it brings Gemma Porter out to the middle.
Well known from the Warwickshire Academy, ex-Vipers and Sparks Academy as well.
Collecting shirts.
Yeah, it certainly is. Finishing her Masters off at Birmingham University. She's going to be big in the run chase because her offies have been fantastic for Glamorgan this season, but right now she's got to help give them a decent total to defend.
Here comes Thomas, and she just plays this off the back foot, squirts it behind point, and they should easily come back for a second. Yes, they do.
Yeah, so 150 feels like a stretch now, but probably thinking 130 is the next milestone, and maybe 140.
Yeah, nicely bowled.
Yeah, Olivia Thomas, who feels strange to say it, given what a mainstay she's been in Yorkshire's side, but she's one of their few players who aren't the academy teenagers coming through, who's not on a full-time professional contract.
Just tucks up Porter. Well, she carries on playing like this. She could well end up being.
Yeah, it's that old football chant with it. Sign them up, sign them up, sign them up. On an academy contract right now, the 21-year-old, once of Lancashire.
Big appeal, and the slow finger goes up, and Thomas has her second in the over. 6 down now, and the collapse continues for Glamorgan.
Yeah, Glamorgan will worry this is falling apart very quickly, but Thomas has 3, including 2 in the over. 4 overs left. And the Welsh side, flying the flag for their country, of course, here at finals day, are in all sorts of a pickle. There has now been 5 wickets that have gone down in the last 4 overs for the addition of just 20 runs. That is a Calypso Collapso. And that is thudding into the base of leg and middle.
Yeah, Maddie Ward went up straight away, and it was the slow finger raise, sends you on your way.
So it's Georgia Parfitt, sister of the captain Lauren. Been in the Wells pathway since she was 11 years old. Secondary school PE teacher by weekday. Tends to be weekday. Key player for Glamorgan by weekend.
And she'll be off the mark straight away. This one hit out to Campbell at deep cover. 1 more to the total.
And I think in this game in particular, that's a point worth making, that pretty much all of this Yorkshire 11 are full-time professional cricketers. No other team has that here today.
Apologies, at the beginning of a new over. So Parfitt now on strike. And she really has been squared up there by Fackrell. Very quick through their overs, aren't they, as well, these Yorkshire players? You barely looked up, and she's already back at the top of her mark, ready to go again.
It's definitely contributed to that low economy rate this season.
This should just be 1, as long on comes in off the boundary.
Indeed, in terms of runs conceded, this is already Fackrell's most expensive spell across 9 T20s this season.
She's got 2 balls still to come. Oh, she's missed that one. Missed her length, full toss. Not given the treatment by Tulloch. So it's just 1 more to the total. 3 now from the over. 1 ball still to come. Again, just a little shuffle down the pitch from Parfitt. And they'll settle for 1. She'll retain strike for the beginning of the next over. 109 for 6. Glamorgan with 3 overs still to come. That 130 even now looks a long way off.
Yeah, it's the first over in the last 5 that hasn't had at least 1 wicket in it. Speaking of wickets, here's a look at them. That was a pumped up Rachel Slater getting Parfitt. That was a lovely catch standing up off Olivia Thomas to remove Holland for 13. And Claudie Cooper taking a magnificent caught and bowled to add to something of an artist collection she's building up. Fackrell there, inducing another feather of an edge and another lovely take by Ward. Winfield Hill took a simple catch off Ellis, and then Porter went LBW to Thomas, and that's where we are now. Slater back.
Yeah, back to some pace. Slater with that skip in her run-up. Just pushed away. And Tulloch at the other end set off like a horse out of the traps. And sort of Parfitt, having played the shot, was sort of thinking, right, can we really get scampering here?
Yeah, that moment where your non-striker is just running at you.
Yeah. big swing, goes aerial. Fielder up wide long on. For a moment thought she might be in the game and just decides to wait on the bounce. And actually sat almost too far back.
Well, I wonder whether Thomas for a second may have misjudged the trajectory of it and thought that it was coming straight at her. Just hesitated, and by the time she did, she wasn't able to get in.
That'll just be one more to the total as well. So dealing in singles now, Glamorgan. Not what you want at this point in an innings. You need to start finding boundaries, but they are 6 wickets down after having that monumental collapse in the middle.
Last boundary was 24 balls ago.
Again, the chance of the caught and bowl just put down, but she's done well to stop it. Hit quite hard by Tulloch.
Yeah, it's a life. So Slater and Thackrell have both not taken ones off their own bowling, and you'd probably say the highest degree of difficulty of the 3 was the one caught by Cooper.
Just a little discussion between Lauren Winfield-Hill at mid-off and Rachel Slater at the top of her mark. Just darted in at the pads this time. Another one to the total. Again, still dealing in singles.
Using all that experience, Rachel Slater, someone who played for Scotland in the World Cup in the UAE last year and was a key part of the Scotland side trying to qualify for one more recently as well.
Final ball of her spell to come here. 5 from the over so far. Just pushed away into that onside, and they're going to think about a second, decide against it. So 6 from the over, 115 for 6 with 2 overs still to come for Glamorgan. Easy enough for me to say. For Glamorgan.
Goodness knows what we'll be like by the
Pardon?
time by the time both of us get through to the final. And of course, you can join us for at 6:45 p.m. start. Middlesex are already there, having won by 10 wickets. They've got that slightly awkward wait, and I know from the PMOA, the way things work for anti-corruption, they're not allowed to leave a small area of the ground as well.
I do always wonder what they're up to in this time.
Yeah, it's not easy, because you would have thought, as Cooper's on for a final over.
Yeah, gives herself room. It's just wide of the fielder at short mid-wicket. I think it's got her on the hand. And in the end, the misfield tried to push it back. It's gone for 4.
Yeah, they almost got in each other's way there, Thackrell and Langston, and then Langston ends up kind of tipping it into the rope.
A bonus boundary, you would call that. It's 119 now on the board. This time slashed away to the offside.
It was a first boundary in 28 balls, just on the way, because you'd have thought maybe you want to go back to the hotel, have a nip nap, you know, have a rest, something like that. But not able to do that. Oh,
Boulder, what a delivery. Excellent from Cooper. It's just straightened on Parfitt, who's tried to launch it back over her head. Bales flying. 7 now down, and also a dot ball. So 120 for 7 now, Glamorgan. Cooper has her second of the day.
Yeah, had to go for it. 10 balls left in the innings. But kind of got herself in a bit of a tangle in doing so, Georgia Parfitt. Honourable way to depart, though. Trying to be aggressive, at least. That's what the situation demanded. But was through it very, very early. It's good flight from Cooper. She gets a lot of wickets from the deliveries that she just holds back like that. Targeting the stumps. Just making the batter wait and wait and wait.
So 7 down. Out to the middle comes Walker. Poppy Walker, just 17 years old. You never know. Life as a 17-year-old is hard. Maybe this is the easiest part of her day.
Yeah, better name for leg spin that is really high potential. Her batting is seen as the less strong of the two suits right now. From Wiltshire, we've got a partnership with Wiltshire Glamorgan.
Nicely played to get off the mark.
So just 8 balls left here. 121 for 7. Tallow got 12 off 11. Got to go now.
Yeah, tries to advance down the pitch to this one. And fine leg does well to just cut it off. It's sort of confused about where it had gone, I think. Tulloch.
Yeah, so Tulloch's got a run of ball 12, which by the context of how many partners have been coming and going around her isn't a bad knock.
This time, just drop and run and miss. If you hit, I think she wasn't quite aware of the fact that Maddie Ward had pounced onto that. I mean, get her in my 10-pin bowling team with that.
Yeah, she's hunting all the dismissals she can get today. Ward has already got a couple standing up.
Yeah, so 19 gone, 1 over still to come. 122 for 7. So the 130 still very much on if they can just middle a few. We saw a very expensive final over earlier. Leicester taking on Saskia Hawley. The first boundary of that innings was found in the very last over. The first 6 of that innings, I should say, was found in that very last over.
Yeah, that went for 14. 14 would get them past 135. It's going to be Langston to bowl it, though. Good luck doing that. She still doesn't have a wicket in the blast this season, but she is going at hovering at around 5 and over, bowling all the difficult overs, as she so often does so well.
Tries to advance at this one. There's a little bit of confusion. Lauren Winfield-Hill, seasoned pro. She knows that there's no point trying to have a shy at the stumps there. Doesn't want to go for the overthrow. So it's a dot ball to start the final over. Big swing. Gonna land just safe. Hung in the air for a moment. Again, just 1.
Yeah, a little bit of luck for Tulloch, but again, still struggling to get much momentum in this innings, Glamorgan. Just 12 fours hit across the 19.2 overs, and no 6s. That boundary percentage is also pretty low, which reflects how well Yorkshire have bowled.
This has gone very high. Lauren Winfield-Hill comes round, completes the catch, her second of the innings, and finally Beth Langston has a wicket in the Vitality Blast.
Yeah, my goodness me. I don't think even the harshest critic could say that she's entirely deserving of it. She's been very economical in the competition throughout this season. She's been very economical today as well. She gets Walker for just 1 off 2. It's a little off cutter. That's what meant that she ended up mistiming it. Lauren Winfield-Hill catches that blindfolded. Not literally, of course.
Now that we'd like to see. So 3 balls to come.
Well, that's the kind of mid-innings sort of mascot entertainment type stuff that we've been talking about ahead of tomorrow, where someone who may or may not be next to me is representing one of the 4 teams, the 3 teams, I'd say, at what we understand to not be a race, but a hungry hippo eating challenge at the Oval.
Oh, I'm not eating any hippos. This is just tucked up Nicole Reid, and they do well to scamper through for a single. No, it's not a hungry hippo
Sorry,
eating
yes,
competition.
You're right.
I'd probably fail at that one. I wouldn't back myself to eat a hippo.
Oh dear. That should be good fun. All for it. The carnage of a mascot race is what T20 is all about. Something like that. All the fun of the fair.
So 2 balls still to come. 124 on the board. Yorkshire will be feeling really positive that they pegged back this Glamorgan charge at one point. It was the collapse, and then they'd started to rebuild again. Wickets fell again. Fine leg just been brought up inside the ring for Tulloch, who has sat there and watched wickets tumble around her. Yeah, she tries to go for the sort of ramp and completely mistimes it. It's a dot ball.
The best way I can sum it up is after 9 overs, Glamorgan was 66 without loss. You've got 10 wickets in hand, you're 66 without loss. They're not even going to double that score from where they were after 9. So it has been a real slowdown.
One legitimate ball to come. Beth Langston gone for just 2 runs and the wicket in this final over. Big swing. Lauren Winfield-Hill has a hat-trick of catches for today. Beth Langston gets her second in the over, the final over. What a death over from Langston. 2 wickets and just the 2 runs. And that means that Glamorgan have been restricted to 124 from their 20 overs. And Yorkshire will be feeling pretty confident that they can chase this down.
Yeah, Langston finishes things in style, and Yorkshire, after that excellent opening partnership between Lauren Parfitt and Bethan Ellis, have pulled things back very nicely. And so for the side who are the only team with a perfect record in the Blast coming into today, 8 wins from 8 in the group, they will be very confident at mid-innings of making it 9 from 9. Resumption in 15 minutes time. At the break in semi-final 2, Glamorgan 124 for 9, 125 to win for Yorkshire.
The spirit of cricket is a really precious thing.
The spirit of cricket. Does the spirit of cricket exist?
It's about the spirit of the game.
The spirit of cricket is a bit cliche, but actually it's important to what makes the game.
What is it? This game we call cricket. Some say it's just that. A game. A way to pass the time. Made up of overs and innings, wickets and runs that can last 5 days. Or a mere afternoon. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's more than the stumps and the wickets, the bat and the ball. More than winning and losing. What makes cricket cricket is us, the people. The people that play, volunteer, organise, spectate and facilitate. From the leaders on the field to those behind the scenes. Cricket is what we make it, through the values we share. It's a game run on respect, built on fairness and decency, where we embrace enjoyment, build belonging and progress with purpose, so that to anyone watching, they see a game for me. These are the values that make this game great, and they've always been there. But it's up to us now to carry them forward, with every ball, every stroke, every session of play, so that together we can help shape this beautiful game, this game that we love, this game we call cricket.
We're here today to launch the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2026, which we are hosting here in England and Wales across 7 iconic venues next summer.
To have a home World Cup, to have watched it in the crowd and to have some a competition like that to look forward to next year is really, really special.
I want to support women's cricket in as many ways as I can, and I think we all need to find ways to support them, attend the games and root for our favourite teams and all the players.
I feel like I've played World Cups all around the world now, and it's going to be so exciting to play at home, play at Old Trafford. I think it's really exciting.
The energy today at this event was amazing. Sitting next to Malala, sitting across from Ellie. Energizing, empowering, and I think it was kind of a call of duty.
I think today's really important because you've brought a whole bunch of people with different perspectives into one room. It's very rare that you get everybody to clear their diaries to do that, and it just goes to show how important it is as well.
It'll pass quicker than you can ever imagine. Even the build-up to it, I think the build-up is almost just as special as the tournament itself.
You can kind of feel like something is changing.
You immediately feel like you're part of it and you're part of a movement.
What it means for us to host a World Cup, and I look back as a huge sports fan and think of the Euros for the women and what that did for women's sport, for football. We've now got a chance to go beyond what football did, and for it to become that seminal moment for cricket, for sport in this country.
But every time there is a victory, it is a ripple effect. It affects women's salaries and what they get because of their skill set, their dynamic personalities, and the audience that they grow. Everybody wins.
I think that it's just a really great opportunity to be able to build now on everything that we've spoken about today, so that next year is just the most amazing summer and it's a brilliant event.
We need your support, we love your support, and hopefully you can roar us on to many victories.
It's the year that women's cricket breaks into the mainstream and stays there.
Calling England cricketers.
My name is Hassan.
My name is Ravi.
My name is Taylor.
And this is my way to play.
You might be used to big crowds, big stadiums, big pitches.
My way to play is different.
I don't play on a pitch, I play on the street.
Playing beach cricket.
Hi, Robbie. Let's see who comes out on top there.
Yeah, hopefully me.
Showing all your friends how it's done. Hassan, can I play?
Yeah, sure, you want a bar?
Yes, please.
Ready, Rav?
Ready?
Rules? Let's just say make them up as we go.
You see the ball swing, I hear it jingle. Over the wall, you're out.
Get my ball back.
No boundaries, just a shoreline.
So, do you fancy changing those whites for chukkies?
Fancy swapping your spikes for bare feet?
Fancy putting your senses to the test? Come and play my way.
What? That was awesome.
Well played. You're too good today.
Great hitting. What a great shot.
Yes, Robbie!
Our games are full of action.
This is the way we play. Give it 100. Sign up now.
All the fun and all the games,
They all start here with All Stars Cricket.
skills,
Friendships, smiles, dreams.
it all happens here.
Every session is all out action. All invited, even mums and dads. That's ball.
Catch, throw, all stars and all stars.
So it's time for the run chase in the second semi-final. 124 for 9 posted by Glamorgan. They're going to need one heck of an effort with the ball to defend it. And to start for them it will be Gemma Porter, who's got the best economy rate of any bowler in the competition. She's bowled at least 12 overs. She's gone for 4.3 runs and over this season. She's picked up 9 wickets as well at an average of 13. So makes sense that look to her. She's a spinner but very comfortable bowling in the power play. Starting off here to Winfield Hill, who can't get off the mark. Lauren Winfield Hill alongside Georgie Boyce. Georgie Heath alongside yours truly, Michael McCann once more.
Yeah, I like this. Starting with a bit of spin.
Straight at square leg, who almost ran past that one. All's well that ends well. Deep mid wicket and long on are the 2 out with a 5-4 field on the onside, so clear requirement for Porter to not give any width. Pushed out into the covers by Winfield Hill, who's a big Brucey bonus for Yorkshire to have back. She spent most of this Blast campaign on loan at Tier 1 Essex. She's only played 2 of the 8 group games. Looks back, hit on the pad. It's going to need a lot to go for her to get an LBW from this angle, Porter. I think it pitched outside leg and it was also potentially turning down leg, and height might have been a problem.
Yeah, well, Lauren Winfield Hill, I saw her in action at the Oval against Surrey in a game that got shortened by the rain. And on that day, she made 49 in just 27 balls. And she came out and meant business, absolutely flying from the off. And so nearly got themselves home. It was a tie in the end. The second tie I've done for Surrey this summer. We've had quite a few ties, actually, around. But she was walloping the ball to all parts.
Well, she's under pressure here. 5 dots from Porter in the blink of an eye. But Winfield Hill sweeps away and sweeps wide of the fielder out of deep mid-wicket for 4. Spoils what could have been a maiden from Gemma Porter. First over done, 4 without loss.
Yeah, it shows no sign of nerves, really, does she? Lauren Winfield Hill, she's been around long enough. She's a mature head. She's part of a World Cup winning squad as well.
Yeah, was out there on that fateful day at Lord's back in 2017, making 24. She was talking about the pressure of this particular finals day as well. And
she's also going to be a mum.
Oh, sweet.
Her and Courtney Winfield Hill this week just announced that they are expecting. So congratulations to them.
Absolutely. Georgie Boyce facing up. 3rd highest run scorer in the competition before today, and has scored Yorkshire's only blast 50, so she's been a great loan signing from Blaze. Katie Cobb into her. Into the covers for no run. Got an update on history of Glamorgan cricket. Hannah Thompson Radford, who's very good at that sort of stuff. Cut by Boyce, has, well, I was going to say has pierced the field, but hasn't. It's a diving half stop that means that rather than 4, she only gets 1. That's great commitment in the covers and that sort of desperation just to get to the ball no matter what. So she said that we found a Glamorgan side that played in the 1950s against Somerset as well. I mentioned that there's been a limited history of Glamorgan women's cricket before this season. Short and cut with real venom, and nothing extra cover can do about that one. Second boundary for Winfield Hill. It's a little too short and a little too wide for a player of her class.
Yeah, beautifully played, wasn't it? And hit with enough that it pierces that very small gap. Almost carbon copy of the previous one, but this time just evading the fielder.
Down the ground from Winfield Hill. This is going to be more runs. It will be 4 of them. Despairing dive from the fielder Sinfane, so back-to-back boundaries. And Yorkshire skipper, not today of course, but captain for much of their season, making an unsurprisingly big impact here.
Yeah, back-to-back boundaries. Cobb had started this over really well, and now Winfield Hill just pushing the foot on the gas.
Goes quicker and flatter. Straight at extra cover. Katie Cobb, who's got a good arm ball, that natural line drifting into the right-hander. But such a small margin for error when you bowl into a top-class player like this. So Winfield Hill goes down the ground. 10 off the over. 14 without loss after 2. Don't underestimate as well, we were talking, alluding a bit there to Lauren Winfield Hill's cricketing CV. What a fantastic opportunity it is for a young bowler like Katie Cobb to bowl at her. There's been plenty of, shall we say, discussion about the fact that Yorkshire start this finals day both on form and the fact that they're the only fully professional team in Tier 2, deservedly favourites. But it also provides an opportunity in the teams that face them to see what that standard so often looks like. Albeit Yorkshire by no means been perfect this season. Walter starts a new over by being whipped away through the onside. They're going to come back for 2. Winfield Hill gets her skates on and gets there.
Yeah, it's really good running that. Putting the pressure on the arm out in the deep. A very fit player on Winfield Hill.
Nicole Reid is on. I beg your pardon, it is still Porter. Hit hard straight at mid-off.
Yeah, Georgie Boyce there, sort of wandering down the pitch and sort of forgetting that actually she needed to get back in her crease. And the throw came in, she sort of had to scamper back. She's kind of just gone for a bit of a wander.
little bit shorter, a little bit too short in truth. It's pummeled away. That's a magnificent tumbling stop. The roll and then the throw. That was fielding of the highest order out there. Means that rather than 4, it's just a couple. I mentioned the Yorkshire haven't quite been perfect. Middlesex's win earlier means they have 12 wins from 14 across all competitions this season. Yorkshire have 12 wins from 14 as well coming into this game. Full toss. Got away with that. Yorkshire's 2 defeats, so an 114-run surprise defeat in their first game of the season at home in the 50-over competition to Worcestershire, and a 10-wicket loss to Tier 1 Bears in the quarter-final of the County Cup. Again, same fielder found. Porter's a little bit lucky there. She's got away with 2 not-so-good deliveries. Or just chip back, and it might have been a caught and bowled chance for just a second for Porter. I don't think got anything on it.
No, it was close though. She needed her go-go gadget arms extension just to get a hand to that one, but a really good effort. And just sort of tucked up Winfield Hill in the end there. So it brings the 3rd over to a close. Yorkshire 19 without loss. Lauren Winfield Hill, well, she scored 18 of them.
Yeah, it's very easy to see just from those 2 overs why Gemma Porter has only gone at 4.3 and over in the Blast this season. Well, this is... Glamorgan won't mind the fact Yorkshire haven't necessarily got away in the power play, but the problem is when you're defending 1-2-4, Glamorgan need wickets. Realistically, if Yorkshire bat the 20 overs here, it's quite difficult to see Yorkshire not getting the target. Boyce has been had the spectator role so far. She's faced just 2 balls, and she's going to spectate a bit more here because Winfield Hill was facing Poppy Tulloch. Tulloch on loan from Hampshire. He's had a very solid campaign. Starts with a front foot no ball though.
Yeah, not an ideal start at all. It means Lauren Winfield Hill, the set batter, will have a free hit to face.
Tulloch has bowled the 2nd most overs of anyone for Glamorgan this season. That's always a sign that you're trusted by your captain.
Not having the 2nd most.
Well, out of everybody. Oh, that's a horrid delivery. That's going to be a no ball on high, and that gets escorted away for 4. So Tulloch's got to recompose herself here. This is a bit of a nightmare beginning to a spell on finals day.
Yeah, this one delivery now has already gone for 6 in total, and it's not. She's still got to bowl another free hit.
Yep, and if she does that again, she'll be out of the attack. Almost head height. Much better delivery. Well bowled by Poppy Tulloch. Game always looks easy for us up here, but it's so much harder down there, and particularly when you're bowling to a player like Winfield Hill, who has so much prestige and pedigree in the game. Short, pulled away by Winfield Hill. Backward square, fields nicely. So 1 more. So this over has gone for 7 off 2. Tulloch, whose best game came at Bristol against Gloucestershire when she got 3 for 22 and removed 3 of the top 6. That was key in winning that one. to re-bowl that one though. So 8 off 2 legitimate deliveries here.
Oh, this was when it starts to get really tricky. You just need your captain at this point to just have a word. You don't need anyone else coming in. You don't need lots of people. You don't need a mothers' meeting. Just a small word from the captain. Just calm it down. If you've got to slow it down a little bit just to find that line, that right length, then do. But you just can't get in your own head at this point and keep trying to go.
All well bowled. Just kept out by Boyce. Yeah, I'm a little surprised you haven't maybe seen Lauren Parfitt come across, have a word, just slow things down.
But perhaps that's like how Tulloch likes to play it. I know that when I play, if I know I've done it wrong, I don't need my captain to come over and say, look, this is going wrong. I'm well aware.
Yeah. I'd hope that
But
Lauren
then you get
Parfitt's...
some people who would rather have a discussion with the captain.
Oh, lovely shot from Boyce. Let's manage to pierce that gap between extra cover and mid-off. 4 of the best runs you'll see all season. Georgie Boyce goes past 250 runs in the blast this campaign in style.
Straight out to her adoring fans, her teammates in the dugout.
Yeah, that was really nicely hit. It wasn't even, it was full, but it wasn't a half volley. Short, deliberately short. Well banged in by Tulloch. Boyce just nudges it away for one. Georgie Boyce has had a great blast. She's made at least a start in every single game that she's played. She's picked up 3 player of the match awards, I beg your pardon. Once of Lancashire Thunder, also Notts as well. Do you think there's every chance? Stranger things have happened and that low move gets made permanent. We shall see. Tulloch into Winfield Hill and has managed to complete the over. So over took 9 attempted deliveries and it went for 13. And this might sound a strange thing to say, but at one point it looked like it could go for a lot more than the 13 that it did.
Yeah, it's actually a good recovery in the end. It was the first delivery, it was the no ball, and then it was no ball again that went for 4. And that looked like it was going to be really expensive. At one point you're talking, if she does this again, she's out the attack. So actually turned things around. And a good finish to the over. Check out the Wiggly Worms, already ahead. Yorkshire, theirs is the slightly darker blue. You can see just the short one ahead at the moment. Still 2 overs of power play to come.
Yeah, Glamorgan 22 without loss at this stage. Katie Cobb back for more. So going for 10 from her first. Scribe is quietly determined. She's from Wiltshire, one of a number of players from that part of the world playing for Glamorgan. That's eased down the ground for 1. Been very smart in the partnerships they've created with Wiltshire and Gloucestershire, Glamorgan, in terms of helping to give those players a pathway towards potential Tier 1 cricket in 2027.
I wonder who was the target told they needed their passport to cross the bridge.
Ah.
There's always one.
Well. That's eased through extra cover for 1 more. That was actually someone who... well, it's going to be 2. They run and get a second on the slight misfield from Parfitt. That was Artemis Downer, who didn't get a bat for Middlesex in that first game, just fielded. She suffered that fate of the old bring your passport.
Oh, did
was
she?
was the only one.
I just know that we used to do it. Travelling from Bristol across to Cardiff to play lacrosse. They'd always tell someone they needed their passport.
Always a classic prank. In fact, beg your pardon, it was Ratchana Kambampati. It was Downer's idea. Middlesex and Glamorgan, of course, could be a potential final, but Yorkshire have got a lot to say about that. That's into the pads. So it's a decent over from Cobb, 3 off 5. But you're getting to the point where Glamorgan are pretty desperate for a wicket, you'd have to say. Particularly defending just 124 for 9 on that board. blocked by Winfield Hill, who is, well, the way she's been dominating the strike, I'm almost surprised she didn't find a single there. End of the over, 35 without loss from 5, the best over of the innings so far from Glamorgan point of view.
Yeah, these two look pretty comfortable out in the middle, having a chat. Not too much to talk about. Well ahead where they need to be at the moment. Going at 7 and over, only need to be going at 6 is that target 125. It could have been a hell of a lot more, but found regular wickets, caused that crumble in the middle. And whoever wins this one, remember, will meet Middlesex in the final at 6:45 this evening.
Looks like Nicole Reid, the leggy, is on. Yep. It's out to deep mid-wicket. Now this is a key phase in the game because Reid, unusually for a leg spinner, is known for her consistency, her accuracy, her ability to create pressure. That's what Glamorgan need now more than ever. She's gone for under 5 and over in the comp this season for a leg spinner. That really does tell you a lot about the amount of control she gets. Down the track, Winfield Hill for 1.
She's got really interesting action, hasn't she? Obviously leg spinners often do, but she's so front on.
Oh yeah. And that even that unorthodoxy in and of itself can take a moment to adjust to. Just ticked away for 1 more. She's a radiographer outside of cricket. She's been in the Welsh pathway since she was 11 years old. Okay, a lot of these players, unsurprisingly, have come through that side of things. Down the ground from Winfield Hill. Just another single, just ticking along here, this pair. Track again, Boyce manages to get past Reid. Definitely no run there.
Yeah, she's sort of offering that really tempting sort of flight, fuller delivery, and you can see Boyce's eyes sort of lighting up. Do I go and take this on the full? Do I wait on the bounce?
Down the track, Boyce. Lovely strong shot this. Save your legs, Georgie Boyce. 4 of the finest runs you'll see all day. Does meet it on the half volley, and a 4 off the last spores would have been a very good over for Glamorgan. Goes for 8, 43 without loss after 6.
Yeah, end of the power play. So 43, they'll be pretty pleased with that one as a start. Winfield Hill going at run a ball 27. Boyce slightly slower to get through. She was starved of the strike early on. Now 13 from 11 and 8 coming off that over in the end from Reid.
Yeah, Glamorgan after 6 overs themselves had 37, so they're only actually 6 behind that. But the problem from a Glamorgan point of view, of course, is that from the 9th over, if anything, the innings slowed down. From looking like they should get at least 140, if not 150, they ended up posting just 124. Cobb continues, met on the full toss.
Yeah, Winfield Hill will feel like she's missed out here. That was there to be hit.
Particular player of her quality as well. One of my favourite things about her as well is that right through the Yorkshire age group, she captained not only plenty of the young girls teams, but plenty of the boys teams as the only girl in it. You love to see it. That short cutaway, well stopped again, and there's just a little throw of the head up to the heavens in frustration from Winfield Hill. Glamorgan will like to see that. I hope it might induce a rash shot from one of Yorkshire's finest cricketers. And it doesn't. Not too surprisingly so. But a good start to this over from Cobb. 1 off 3.
Yeah, she'd been relatively tidy in her first over before it went for a boundary at the end.
Oh, that's a full toss. That's a Poor delivery, and gets all the treatment it deserves. Boyce just whacks it away gleefully through square leg for 4, and she'll be so frustrated there, Katie Cobb, because she's released any sense of pressure that might have been building through the over.
Yeah, that was just there to be hit. Eyes light up. You can play a sort of baseball shot to this one, and she really does have a big swing at that. The only thing that she missed out on was it being a 6 rather than a 4.
Cut straight at point. A good recovery from Cobb. Seen too many 6s today. Saw one from Phillips for Leicestershire, and that's the only one. That's another full toss, and Boyce will be a little disappointed to only get 1 in the over. 6 off it, 49 without loss, so we're on the 7 times tables with 7 gone.
Yeah, well ahead of where they need to be, the run rate, but you'll think they'll want to try and get this done convincingly and sort of lay down a marker if they were to get over the line here, Yorkshire. They want to show Middlesex in that final that they really do mean business. Cutthroat, put their foot on the throat of Glamorgan and chase this down in less than their 20 overs. The last thing you want in a semi-final or a final is to have to take it really deep and into those final overs and be requiring, 9 off the last over.
It's been pretty spin heavy from Glamorgan so far. That will continue as Reid is on for her second. You would have caught as well that batting card for Yorkshire. Extraordinary batting depth with Thackrell, Langston and Slater at any combination of 8, 9 or 10. I think it's fair to say that plenty of teams would be pretty happy to have any of those in their middle order rather than their lower order. Reid starts with a wide, which brings up the 50. Should bring up their 50 just 2 balls quicker than Glamorgan, but as we've mentioned before, the innings slowed down a bit for Glamorgan after that promising opening partnership. Boyce is straight at extra cover. Glamorgan, who got here with 5 wins, a couple of losses and a no result, comfortably finished in the qualifying spots needed in the South Group, second behind Middlesex. Boyce trots through for 1. Reached finals day with a 9-wicket win against Gloucestershire in glorious South Wales sunshine, with a crowd of more than 1,000 there in the first ever women's blast game at Sophia Gardens, with Bethan Ellis and Beth Gammon doing the damage. That was a red letter day for Welsh women's cricket. Oh, big sweep, appeal. Umpire unmoved.
If ever I've seen pleading from behind the stumps, I think that's right up there. Squatting down, please. As if you've not done enough squats already as a keeper.
Yeah, Georgia Parfitt.
Please, can I have a second slice?
Doing all she could to get the finger raised. That's out to deep mid-wicket. Great work out there, keeps it to 1. Well, Glamorgan are not doing a bad job of containing these two, but they're not really carrying as much threat as they would like to try and break the partnership. But that might be a stumping off a wide. Nope. Has managed to get back. Parfitt is pleading once more, but the back foot was grounded the entire time from Boyce.
Putting the stumps and the bails back together. We've already had a bail had to be replaced today. If you hadn't tuned into the earlier on game today, there was a slight delay in play as a broken bail had to be taken off and we had a replacement.
Down the ground from Boyce for 1 more. Just 1 left from this over, which has only gone for 5, so nice and tight, but Glamorgan need more than that. As that shows, required run rate's already trickled down to 5.8. Swept hard, swept well, and beats the fielder for 4. So the over finishes with a boundary that, not for the first time, spoils what have been a pretty good looking over for Glamorgan. 58 without loss after 8. Yorkshire hold all the cards.
Yeah, I was going to say just the same. Reed's first over, when she had this, she'd been going just for singles, and then the last ball was that full toss that was dispatched by Georgie Boyce. This time, just the half volley on the slog sweep from Lauren Winfield-Hill. Couple of bounces, 4 for her. And they are well ahead of that rate now. 8 overs gone, 58 on the board for Yorkshire. Winfield-Hill, runner ball 33, Georgie Boyce 20 from 17. That target, 125. In Glamorgan, they might be thinking, what could have been? They had such a foundation set, and then it was that collapse in the middle that's really caused them problems.
Poppy Walker, the 17-year-old leg spinner. He's got a good googly in the locker as well. It's the kind of bowler you need in a situation like this. Someone different to make something happen. Described as a high potential leg spinner by Amy Rees, Director of Women's Cricket at Glamorgan. It's down leg though, sensibly left alone. Talked as well about how, in her words, positive, accommodating and helpful Glamorgan have been to integration of the women's programme. Talked about 4 double headers, the away dressing room at Sapphire Gardens being decked out in photographs of the women's team. Really make them feel at home.
It's also a wonderful place to go and watch cricket, Sapphire Gardens. Really nice. Nice ground.
River always adds to an aesthetic with a cricket ground.
Oh, yeah.
The irony is, so they were 58 for none off 8 at the start of this over. You wouldn't believe what Glamorgan were on after 8 overs.
Oh, go on.
58 for none.
Oh.
So it does illustrate again just how well Yorkshire pulled things back and the potential missed opportunity for Glamorgan there. Goes back deep in her crease, Winfield-Hill. This is nice from Walker. This is a good start. He's tossing it up and he's finding some really challenging lengths for these two. All swept and missed by Winfield-Hill. I think this is, and it's something I've been told about by a couple of people at Glamorgan in the build-up. This is one of those players you're watching where you sense there's a big future ahead for Poppy Walker. From Wiltshire, just 17 years old. Goes on the reverse and is gone or not. I thought that had clipped a bell, but obviously not. Poppy Walker causing real problems here. Winfield-Hill will probably be a touch relieved to be at the non-striker's end. What a great battle we're watching here. When Lauren Winfield-Hill won the World Cup, Poppy Walker was 9 years old. Now here she is, almost getting her out. I thought that had snuck past. Actually, it comes off the leg of Winfield-Hill and away. This is into the gap. And this will be 2. So the end of a very promising first over from young Poppy Walker. It goes for 4. 9 overs gone. 62 without loss.
Yeah, for someone like Poppy Walker, I think, you know, that's where it's so exciting, this development of the women's game. You know, Glamorgan coming into this Tier 2 and League 2, whatever you fancy calling it. And then get eyes on it, and then you think about things, obviously, like 100 contracts, rookie contracts, that kind of thing down the line. And she's only 17, and that's what's really exciting, because she's getting all these opportunities. She's bowling against World Cup winners. She's facing World Cup winners. She's facing players who've been professional since she was doing I don't know, SATs or SATs or whatever exams kids do these days.
Yeah, to emphasise again, apart from the odd Tier 1 loan player who might be a full-time professional that's on loan to a Tier 2 team, all of the full-time professional cricketers that you're watching today play for Yorkshire. Almost every single Yorkshire player is one. That's swept high, swept into it, sort of Bermuda Triangle of the gap for 1 by Winfield-Hill. This is encouraging signs for Glamorgan. Porter's back, who earlier looked very impressive for her miserly 9 runs conceded off 2. Glamorgan will sense this might be their moment. Break this partnership and try and create a collapse. Porter just adjusting her field. Wants a backward point in. Boyce down the ground. It's one of her favourite areas. And long off makes a tumbling stop to her right. Good scamperage gets them back for 2. Good cricket all round.
You know, I've been really impressed actually by Glamorgan in the field today. There's so many that I think, yep, Matt's got 4 written all over it. And suddenly a fielder comes flying out of nowhere, puts in the stop, drop and roll and turns a 4 into a 2.
Love that. Make it sound like a military manoeuvre.
Yeah.
And it is in a way. There's a real skill to making it look easy. Down the ground, Boyce, and back and dropped. Dropped by Porter, who's worked so hard to create this pressure. No caught and bowled is ever easy, but that was not one of the absolute hardest. You could see in her reaction she was so frustrated. Push through quicker and flatter.
Well, this is turning into a very interesting phase in the game. Yes, they've still got plenty of wickets in hand, but just these 2 bowlers working in tandem, slowing the run scoring down, forcing batters to try something.
Boyce goes through the covers this time. We'll get 1. Brings Winfield Hill back onto strike, who had an interesting comment about finals day. So currently Tier 1 scheduling is very different to Tier 2. I'm proof of that. Girls haven't played as many games as they will do next year. Playing 2 games in a day to hopefully have to back it up and be put under real pressure will be a great challenge. That's the physical and mental aspect to it. Winfield Hall pulls away, but straight to deep mid-wicket. So an excellent over from Porter, who will be left ruining the fact that she couldn't quite take the chance that she created off her own bowling. It goes for 5. Midway point of the innings reached. 67 without loss, 68 without loss, I beg your pardon. And 2 runs behind where Glamorgan were at this stage, but having lost a wicket fewer. But as we know, Glamorgan didn't capitalise on that platform. 57 to win off the last 10.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to sort of compare these two because these two are very seasoned pros out in the middle, marshalling the chase. They know that they didn't need to go out all guns blazing at the top, so they've been able to just wait on the bad balls, capitalise. Yes, there have been a few sort of holding overs these last few. Just Walker at one end, gone for 4 from her first over and Porter at the other. And that's given a hell of a lot of flight. It's not come cleanly off the bat, and it's really well taken. The first wicket goes down. Lauren Winfield Hill tries to go big, and Walker has earned that wicket. That's an excellent grab as well from Gammon in the deep. The first wicket goes down, and it's that of Lauren Winfield Hill, who has to trudge back to the dugout for a well-made 35.
Yeah, the 17-year-old leg spinner is the one to provide the breakthrough for Glamorgan in the semi-final. It's a lovely composed catch from Gammon out in the deep. She made it look easier than it was. Had to cover it a good 15 yards or so round to her left. She was still on the move when she took it, and she made sure that she didn't lose it on impact, which can often happen when the elbows hit the ground. It's a very smart piece of fielding. It's just the kind of difficult chance you've got to take to get back into a game at this stage. It's a reward for Walker, who will, as we've already seen, will continue to toss the ball up. Might be 17, but she's almost in some ways a bit of a traditional leg spinner from an era before the era where everyone wanted to be bowl darts.
Yeah. So it brings Stair Callis out to the middle, who I'm convinced is still trying to set a world record for the most matches played in a women's summer. She's been on loan at Bears as well and is actually in some very good form. The Dutch international always steps onto the field right foot over the boundary rope first. That's her superstition. And she just rocks off the back foot and can only pick out points off her first delivery.
Well, you know what they've jokingly nicknamed her at Yorkshire? The workhorse. Which it was actually come up with by a couple of the fast bowlers in reference to, I don't know, you're the one doing all the hard work.
Oh, she'll be off the mark with this one. I actually did live with Stair over in Sydney for a month in December. while she was out there playing for Gordon, picking up lots of runs there, scored 100 for them, and then went over and played with the Dutch national side, went and played in Nepal. Honestly, she's all over everywhere. Good fun to live with as well. I think she might have just found a tickle there. Umpire remains unmoved. But again, really good stuff this from Walker. A wicket and just the 1 run so far from this over. Talking about dragging the game back. So now run a ball 56 needed to win for Yorkshire. Again, just sort of tucked up a little tight. A slight hesitation on the throw. Comes in, but Georgie Boyce is happily home.
When you see the replay back, you'll spot as well, that was Walker's googly, and it turned noticeably the other way. It's one of the big reasons why so many people are so excited about her. This is a spinner that can genuinely turn the ball both directions. Gives it a real rip.
Just pushing square leg out onto the boundary. Deep mid wicket as well. What an over. What an over. Just the 2 runs and the wicket coming from it. The big one, Lauren Winfield Hill. The end of 11, Yorkshire 70 for 1, so 55 needed from 54. Porter, she's bowled 3 overs. She's got none for 14. Is she going to continue? Because she's bowled really well.
Yeah, it's the exact dilemma I was wondering as well. Part of me thinks you finally built a sense of pressure. Do you want to just keep that going? Walker's got 2 overs left. Tulloch's only bowled 1 over, was expensive. Katie Cobb's got 1 left. Reed's bowled a couple. They are going to go back to seam. They're going to keep Porter, arguably one of, if not their best bowlers, final over in the locker. And they're going to go back to Tulloch. Now, this is a calculated risk. They had to do it at some point, but her only over went for 13 and included 9 attempted deliveries.
And that's going to be 4 off the very first, or is it? It's just slowed up enough. And actually, somehow not gone to the boundary. I thought that had the legs, and they're going to come back for another. Really good running from these 2. And actually, there could be an overthrow there. No, decided against it. I think Georgie Boyce and Stair Callis, a little lack of communication, or they could have capitalised and picked up another.
Yeah, the rain has definitely noticeably slowed this outfield up a bit. That was another demonstration.
So in the end, they just run 3, but they could have come through for a 4th, you felt. We've seen it all today. We've seen a 5,
4, 3.
An all-run 4.
We just need an all-run 6 now.
Callis just surveying the field. Long leg. Deep extra cover. Long on. She has a waft at this one, falls over and ends up down, stretched on the floor. It's when you feel really pleased you've got a bat to help yourself stand up again.
He hasn't actually played too much for Yorkshire in the Blast because of that loan to Bez. Played 3 games, scored an uncharacteristically low 37 in those 3 matches.
Bowled up. That is the end of Stair Callis, and Tulloch, who had a nightmare first over, gets a big scalp, just nipping back slightly on Callis. And as you dream as a pace bowler, top of off, and this game is not done.
Yeah, what a moment for Poppy Tulloch. You think of that horrible first over she had where she was having all sorts of struggles with her run-up, line and length. Now here she is, 19 years old, dismissing one of the most impressive seasoned batters in English women's domestic cricket. Dutch international Stair Callis, gone for just 1. Now then, Glamorgan needed to...
You do sound northern, don't you? Now then.
Glamorgan needed to build some pressure, and they needed to strike twice, you sense. It's that old cliche about a couple of wickets and how it can change the complexion of the game. And Maddie Ward, Yorkshire's 20-year-old captain, comes out to face a Pumped up Tulloch. That is pretty much perfect for the top of off. That's the kind of thing as a 19-year-old fast bowler on your pillow going to sleep the night before finals night you dream about.
I think you dream about that at any age. You don't have to just be 19.
Yeah, fair. Valid. Absolutely valid. So Ward is out there now. Now, this is going to be fascinating because Ward loves ramps, paddles, scoops, all sorts behind square either side, including, in fact, even more so against pace, often than spin. And that's one reason Glamorgan have got a fielder that's almost a long stop.
This one just finds the outside edge, and there's confusion in the middle. Georgie Boyce is just... She'd almost resigned herself to the fact that if that hit, she was out. She was halfway down the pitch. Complete lack of communication. And head's looking a little bit scrambled here for Yorkshire.
Well, that's the difference that 2 wickets and some tight overs can make. Boyce is left absolutely nowhere here. It's just looking and hoping.
Yeah. When you just sort of go to try and make sure the ball blows away. There you go. There's those ramps and scoops we like to see from Maddie Ward. It'll just be one, but she's off the mark now.
Yeah, because they've got Cobb in that most unusual position that if you weren't aware of Ward's game, you'd think, well, that's not showing a lot of trust in the wicket-keeper, Georgia Parfitt, but it has nothing to do with Parfitt. It's simply that that's one of Ward's favourite areas to go in. Field's going to change a bit now for a slightly more conventional Boyce. Boyce likes to hit straight down the ground against pace. To me, mid-on and, well, long on and long off here look a little bit wide, I'd say, if anything.
This could be 2. No, they're just going to keep it to 1.
Yeah, Yorkshire just need a period of calm rebuilding. It's still 50 to win off 50 with 8 wickets in hand, but sometimes it can be difficult in the moment to remember that broader picture when you all decide that you're under pressure. Glamorgan have the momentum right now.
Still runnable 49 needed. Pushed away by Ward again, just be 1 more, so she'll retain strike for the beginning of the next over. Successful over that one for Tulloch, picking up a wicket after being expensive in her first. Brings the 12th over to a close. Yorkshire 77 for 2.
Yeah, and so much credit there to Poppy Tulloch. Teenager at finals day. You know, for a lot of the players you're watching today, this is the biggest day of cricket that they've had in their career so far. She's certainly someone that you put broadly towards that bracket. Your first balls have seen a front foot no ball, a head height delivery, you've gone for 7 off 1 ball, you've had an over where you're really struggling for your radar, and then you come back like that to get Stair Callis with a peach that just means that Glamorgan are more than fighting their way to stay in this contest.
So Walker is going to bowl her 3rd. She's only gone for 6 runs as well and picked up the wicket of Lauren Winfield-Hill. A long leg, deep mid-wicket out, deep cover.
Well, this is... Oh, beg your pardon. All I was going to say is this is a really aggressive move from Glamorgan. You're bringing Walker back now, and you're bringing her back to take more wickets. No doubt. You're not bringing her back to contain.
Waits nicely, but can only pick out the field. A complete lack of communication again. Both at the same end. The throw was poor, came into the middle. Keeper having to sprint sort of 11 yards up the pitch, and that should have been a run out.
Well, Yorkshire have got to work this out. Boyce and Ward have got to work this out. It's amazing it hasn't cost them now.
Yeah, I said that Yorkshire head was sort of scrambled. Now we're going to over-scrambled omelette kind of situation. Complete lack of communication. Set off running. Run past Maddie Ward at this point.
Well, Boyce almost for a second looked like she'd just given up. And then the throw comes mid-pitch. And it's not a great throw, and that's what kind of lets them off.
This time decides against trying to take the catch, so 1 more. It's all going on now.
You know, remember that this is a Yorkshire team that lost their opening game of the season against Worcestershire at Headingley, and openly said afterwards that they felt like the occasion got the better of them, and they're now being tested here on a finals day.
It's tucked away this time, one more.
It's interesting. I spoke to one person in the build-up to this who's entirely neutral but is very knowledgeable when it comes to all things women's cricket, and they said to me, Yorkshire might be the only fully professional women's team here, but that doesn't mean they're immune to the pressure of a finals day, and that's absolutely spot on. That's what we're seeing here. They're being really tested.
Gets away with one just inside that line, and you can see that Georgie Boyce can't believe it, but it's easily inside the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Boyce has got no reason to be really frustrated with that.
This time goes aerial, fielder comes in, puts it down. Oh, what a moment that could have been. Could have got rid of Georgie Boyce, who's been out there since the beginning, comfortably on 32, and it was a pretty regulation catch. It could have been a second for Walker.
And he's injured as well by the looks of things. Might try and brave it out, but just from the first reaction of the fielder. Well, it was tough, it was diving forward, but it's the kind of catch in a crunch semi-final when you need a wicket that you've got to take. It's a little half, well, it's more than a half chance. It's tough, but it's definitely more than a half chance. 81 for 2, so 4 off the over from Walker, who has been so instrumental in this turnaround. The 17-year-old leggy has gone for 8 off 2. How she's not picked up a wicket, I'm not entirely sure.
Continue with the leg spin, not where she was aiming at all, just backward of square. Rocket arm in there from Tulloch. She's fired up, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she should be. Reed's interesting. So they've taken Tulloch off, gone back to Reed, who had gone for 17 off 2 before that ball. Still got 1 over from Porter and Walker and Cobb in the locker. 2 from Tulloch.
Extra flight this time, straying down the leg side. 1 more to the total. And again, lack of communication on the running. Desperate to get down the other end, Georgie Boyce.
Yeah, it's one thing backing up aggressively, but as that replay showed, that was beyond that. That was uncertainty.
Yeah. Moves across early, does Maddie Ward, but again can only pick out the fielders who's positioned there nicely. Bowling to her field.
Yeah, it's something you'll see a lot from Ward. Against both spin and pace, scores a lot of runs behind. I was going to say behind square, either side of the wicket. Often it's near enough over the keeper's head.
Again, not timed. 1 more, dealing in singles. Just a holding period this. It's been such a great fight back from Glamorgan, because when Boyce and Winfield Hill were just racing along at the beginning and then ticking along nicely, you thought this was going to be a stroll in the park. Just turned away fine. If she let it go, would have been a wide down the leg side.
I'll give you all a minute or so to guess how many balls since the last boundary.
5,609. No,
you're close.
I am.
It has been a fair old while. Reed's only gone for 5 from this over. It's been a great bowling effort from Morgan under real pressure in these middle overs.
So 1 to come. And pulled away nicely again. There's a fielder out there on the boundary, so 1 more to the total. Boyce will keep strike for the beginning of the next over, so 14 overs have gone. Yorkshire find themselves 87 for 2. They still need another 38 runs from 36 balls. They have got 8 wickets in hand. You would feel that it's still in Yorkshire's favour, but not like it was just a few overs ago. And now, Michael, please take us out of our misery. How many balls?
36 balls.
Ooh,
yeah,
6
exactly.
overs.
Exactly. The last ball of the 8th over, Winfield Hill hit that to the boundary. It was 58 for none off 9. Since then, 58 for none off 8. In the 6 overs since, they've scored 29 runs at 5 and over, just a tickle under 5 and over for the loss of 2 wickets.
My goodness.
It's been a real slowdown.
Advances at this one and hit well enough out to Gammon that it will just be one. She took that great catch already, so not going to be taking her on. Great fielder.
Porter back for her last. Desperate to pick up a wicket. Arguably Glamorgan's best bowler in this last season.
This one will pick out the fielder and be no more to the total. So 37 still needed by Yorkshire. Moves early to go for the reverse, just beats the fielder, and finally the shackles are broken and it's a boundary for Yorkshire.
Yeah, first boundary in 39 balls, and this is the kind of shots Yorkshire supporters have got all too used to from their 20-year-old captain for the Blast, Maddie Ward. Very comfortable with the reverse. She's arguably more comfortable when playing those unconventional shots behind square either side than the more conventional stuff.
This time finds the gap, and well, like London buses, when one comes, so does another. You wait all that time and 2 in 2 balls.
Yeah, this is a great cricket shot from Ward. Walker adjusting to the ball before. A little more conventional, inside out, 4 runs through extra cover. It's easy to see when you see Ward batting like this as to why she's been one of the breakthrough stars for Yorkshire this season.
Yeah, you wonder when something like a 100 contract will come calling for a youngster like Maddie Ward.
Thanks, Ryan.
This has just bamboozled her, but scamper through. 1 more to the total. Most expensive over of Walker's so far. Now 10 from it.
Yeah, it's almost bowled out. I mean, regardless of what happens in this final over, this is, for many at finals day, will be one of those I was there days.
Goes aerial this time into the leg side. Fielder comes in off the boundary, cuts it off. 1 more to the total. And Walker finishes her 4 overs for the game. That one going for 11 in the end. So 15 gone, Yorkshire 98 for 2. 27 now needed to win.
No, it's a spell to remember. Remember, you've got very young Morgan side here against their often more experienced counterparts. Ward and Boyce actually know each other from time spent at Blaze together once upon a time when Ward was in the academy there. Now there's been a little mini conference there between Parfitt and Gammon about who might bowl next. Porter was briefly in the conversation in terms of contributing insight. It's going to be Tulloch, who's had an eventful day for a 1 for 20 off 2.
Yeah, interesting. They've brought Tulloch back on. We saw that peach of a delivery to get rid of Stair Callis, and they're hoping that Georgie Boyce gets the same treatment. Think she's got a tickle on it. Yes, first ball of the over from Tulloch. Again, she strikes, and it's the set batter, Georgie Boyce, who's been out there since the beginning. She has to trudge back to the dugout too. We have a game on our hands here.
That's a massive scout. Boyce, one of the top scorers in this competition this season. She's played a steady hand at the top. Just feathering at one outside that off stump. Well, by the looks of that replay, it might have even been a wide. Not a lot of foot movement from Boyce. Simple catch for Parfitt, and Such mental resilience from Tulloch here. After that start to the spell that she had, she's now got Callis and Boyce. Some fine bowling. But out comes one of the most destructive batters across the Tier 2 circuit this season, Amy Campbell, who has been scoring her blast runs at 150 per 100 balls.
Yeah, if she gets going quickly, this could all be over very soon.
Absolutely. She's talked about the fact there's 4 blast games where I've got myself out. Other people haven't got me out, so still always searching for those ways to improve. But my goodness me, particularly in that arc from mid-wicket round to a straight long off, she's so destructive there. Often stands and delivers. I would be surprised if she's nothing short of pretty aggressive here, Campbell. Will make for entertaining viewing, no doubt about that.
And the left-hander. So I'll just play with Tulloch's line a little bit. As Campbell surveys the field. Deep mid-wicket, long leg. And it goes just to the left of a diving point, has a slash and gets off the mark with a 4.
Well, as promised, we'll give it the kitchen sink, Amy Campbell. And if point was just 5 yards or so further round to their right, it would have been a catching chance.
Even that.
The 100's up off 92 balls. Only just the tiniest bit ahead of where Glamorgan were at this stage, but Glamorgan's innings faded badly. They only scored 22 off the last 5.
It was more of a switch off rather than a fade out, wasn't it? This one again looks to squirt it through the offside, can't get it through.
I mentioned how destructive Campbell is. She hit 165 not out off 105 balls in a 50 over game against Derbyshire. And credited her partner, Courtney, who works as a health and safety officer, and told her, why don't you go out and play safe? Said that for the first 50 balls of her innings, she just played safe before expanding from there.
Full toss this time, just pushed up to long off.
It was a great example of how odd our game can be. By her own admission, barely scored a run in pre-season, barely scored a run in the first few games of the campaign. And then the next thing you know, she ended up scoring 272 runs across 4 games without getting out.
Cricket is just so weird.
Yep.
It's when you're watching the IPL, you know, and Vaibhav Suryavanshi scores 100. It was just written in the stars he was then going to be out for a duck the next innings. It was, you just knew before it even happened that was going to happen, and it did, because that's how cricket works.
Yorkshire still got a fair bit of work to do here.
Yeah, still require 22. Maddie Ward on 15. Struck on the pads this time. Tulloch really likes it. She is fired up. It's going down leg, you would say.
It is, but there's a lot to like from Poppy Tulloch in this spell.
She's got sort of a bit of extra grit about her, hasn't she? A bit of Catherine Siverbrunt, Mania Shrubsole sort of get in there.
She took 3 for 18 in the home win against Middlesex, and I know a few people noted that she raised her game for the biggest team that she'd played thus far.
Maddie Ward again going for something innovative, and it pays off. Keeper sticks out her left glove in vain. 4 more to the total, and Maddie Ward, the captain, doing what she does best and adding a little bit of innovation.
I think the other thing is it's Ward's pre-delivery movement that messes with Tulloch's rhythm and causes it to fly away. Now, a question is going to be asked about her being taken out of the attack here. I wonder, or maybe she's okay. I just saw a conversation with an umpire and I wondered if it had been maybe no balled on height. It looked to me like it had maybe dipped down just enough, and clearly umpires agree. 18 to win off 4.
Our cameraman getting arty-farty there. Nice reflective shot from the mower. Is that the mower?
Yeah, and it's probably a good moment to...
A moment. Sorry, I'll see myself out.
Probably as good a time as ever to say a big thanks to all the very hard-working crew at Badger and Coombs behind the scenes, who were very much making this live stream happen, whilst Georgie and I pontificate over the top of it.
Yeah, they're Badger and Coombs, we're more Bodger and Badger.
Now Katie Cobb's back. None for 19 off her first 3. Margin for error is tiny here now for Glamorgan.
Flights this one, goes aerial, this could go all the way, yes it does, muscled by Amy Campbell. She does her bicep curls and they do pay off.
Yep, she's one of the very best 6 hitters around, and she's having one heck of a season, and that's her favourite area to hit them.
And suddenly it's 12 from 23.
This is what Amy Campbell does, she takes the game away from you so quickly.
Goes again this time, back over the head of the bowler, not quite got a hold of it, and an excellent effort, a diving Bethan Gammon.
Yeah, that's a great stop by Gammon. No right to keep that in play.
She's everywhere. She's absolute, like a Jack Russell Terrier.
She's like
around the outfield.
Glamorgan's Jess Fishlock. Analogy for the Welsh supporters in.
Again, muscles it. Hasn't got a hold of this one, has she? Yes, she has. Over the head of Gammon. Second 6 of the over. Amy Campbell has said, you know what? I want a bit of a break between the semi-final and the final. I'm going to get this done quickly.
Well, this is classic Campbell. She finishes games in a hurry for Yorkshire. That's her role, this kind of freewheeling number 5 in the order with licence to frill.
Who was that?
Knowing that there's insurance policies behind her.
So 4 now needed to win. Amy Campbell on strike, 19 from 6. This over has already gone for 14. And it will be a dot, so it's not over till it's over.
Worth saying, regardless, Glamorgan have really done themselves proud in the Blast this season. There's a core of a side building there that will be exciting to see step up to Tier 1 in 2027.
Here comes Cobb again. Shuffles down the pitch at this one, hits it back past the bowler. It'll be 1 more to the total. Now 3 needed to win, and it's the captain, Maddie Ward, on strike.
Amy Rees, the director of cricket, said it's been a big shift for us getting the Glamorgan EPP programme building, relationships with Wiltshire and Gloucestershire, getting our academy running as well as a Tier 2 side. So it's been a very busy winter behind the scenes. Just come up short against a very good Yorkshire side.
Maddie Ward just guides this down towards point. They think about a second and decide against it. Brings the over to a close. So Ward will be on strike for the beginning of the next. She's 20 from 16. Campbell 20 from 8. And 2 runs still needed for Yorkshire to book themselves in a final where they will take on Middlesex.
Yep, and just a reminder again, if you're not already aware, that final will start in just over an hour and 10 minutes time, 6:45 p.m. local time here. Middlesex have been waiting and having a rest. Yorkshire will have what by most is perceived to be an advantage of winning, and then the adrenaline of effectively almost a version of winner stays on.
So it's looking a very steep uphill battle for this Glamorgan side to stay in the comp here. 2 now needed from 18, and it's the captain on strike. Full toss, just pushed up back past the bowler. They got to scamper through here. The wayward throw, and it means the scores are level. Amy Campbell on strike. 1 now needed to win for Yorkshire to book themselves a spot in the final, take on Middlesex and see who can lift the trophy for the inaugural season of this League 2 Vitality Blast. Campbell on strike. And it's not just yet.
Cricket's great for providing such strange anticlimaxes, isn't it? Such odd moments like this where just waiting on the winning moment.
Well, she struck 2 massive 6s in the previous over, now just needs 1. And that's gone up very high, very long. Amy Campbell finishes it with a flourish, with a maximum into the members. They embrace in the middle, and Yorkshire are into the final. Kudos to Glamorgan. They held their own, but in the end, they just couldn't keep Yorkshire tied down. They win it with 15 balls remaining. They're into the final. They will take on Middlesex for a chance to come out as champions.
Well, it's classic Campbell to finish it with a 6. Amy Campbell looking to seal it in style and does so perfectly. Yorkshire remain perfect in the Women's Vitality Blast League 2 this season. They are 9 from 9 and will go for the perfect 10 in the final. Morgan pushed them close and certainly gave them a bit of nerves in the middle overs of that run chase. You can take so much credit under head coach Rachel Priest for how far they've gone in the competition this season, but ultimately they fall short. And you have to say, on the balance of the game, Yorkshire deservedly take it. Glamorgan will look back at being 66 without loss after 9, and they'll rue not getting to a bigger total. In truth, from there, should have been looking at ballpark 150, but ended up at 124 for 9. Yorkshire pulled things back nicely and just had too much power and panache with the bat. So we know it will be Yorkshire versus Middlesex, who intriguingly also meet in 50 over action next Saturday, the 2nd of August at Headingley. But now they're going to have a T20 final starting in just over an hour. Your winners of this second semi-final are Yorkshire.
Make a sound,